Welcome everyone to TJ and the Grumpy Old Man, a twice a week sports podcast where myself, your host TJ, and the Grumpy Old Man talk about sports and shoot the shit. Now with Grumpy, they say he is always the same because there's no shame in his game.
What the hell is going on today?
Grump,
First of all,
mixing it up a little bit. I don't know.
You bungle the intro. You're wearing this tank top again, and the worst kind of tank top, a black tank top, which shows off your alabaster skin.
I know. I was about to say I'll have to go ahead and I'll have to shield out. Maybe I'll put a green screen behind me, Grump, so you don't have to worry about it. But it'll be like more of a very, very pale color, so it'll blend right in with the background.
Oh my gosh! And I've been ready to go for like 45 minutes.
You're ready to go for 45 minutes.
Ready to go.
Oh, fair enough, Grump. Man, I'll tell you, there's a lot that's happened this last week in the world of sports. I think most notably, right? National Signing Day for college football. That was, I believe it was it Tuesday? Tuesday, Wednesday?
I think Tuesday. Yeah. Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah. Or it was December 15th. It was Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Okay. So big news that was captivating, national headlines. Number one recruit in the nation, top rated corner, Travis Hunter. He flipped a commitment from Florida State to Jackson State University with Deion Sanders, HBCU, who nobody really thought that they would have the firepower like that. But man, oh man, crazy to think about, Grump.
That's what money talks, right?
Well, it's interesting. That story is an interesting one, Grump, because Deion says no money was exchanged. There was no reason he came here. It wasn't because of money. I don't know. I don't know, Grump. I'll let you read his statements. I'm not too sure about it though.
Yeah, for me, why would you go to okay? I can see both ways, right? You get to be coached if you're a defensive back, a cornerback. You get to be coached by Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
Okay. But I don't understand. I'm sure he got money.
One of the greatest corners of all time, or maybe the greatest corner of all time.
Now, here's the thing. Maybe Deion Sanders is saying, we didn't pay him money to come here, but, he's getting that NIL money from somewhere, but they had nothing to do with that, supposedly. Who knows?
I don't know. It's the entire situation's odd because he was committed up until that day to Florida State, and he flipped, I believe, that day. Nobody had expected it. And it's odd, right? The landscape of college athletics is changing. We wondered, what would name, image, and likeness deals do to the future? And again, maybe this is not a case where name, image, and likeness had any impact at all, right? Let's assume Travis Hunter just loved Deion Sanders. Very rarely can you say, I can go get coached by the best at his craft that's ever played the game. I mean, that could definitely be appealing for a young man.
And as long as he plays well there, it's not going to hurt his draft stock, right? I just think when a kid like that gets that much money, that I wonder if he's going to go to school at all.
Well, we don't know. We don't know if he got any money. We have no idea. The rumor was, right, Barstool Sports. That was originally the rumor that was swirling around. And Barstool Sports said, "Oh, absolutely not. We definitely did not have any deal worked out with Travis Hunter." And Deion said, "No, we had no, preordained deals worked out with Travis Hunter." But the rumor was he got paid $1.5, maybe $3 million. But again, it was a rumor, and both the sources to who he was being tied to immediately shot it down today. So I'm sure we'll find out more as time continues to elapse. But this is, you want to talk about something big in the landscape, Grump. That was big. Oh, Brandon Gaines, they're saying TJ once again late.
Shocker, right? It's a shocker.
Oh,
TJ's running late. There's a shocker.
Alexander's saying, "Hey guys, what's up? What's up, Alexander? How are you?" Drew L saying the LA Charger players are dropping like flies.
Oh, I don't like to hear that. I got 2 LA Charger guys going today. This is fantasy playoffs week, the money league. Jesus. I got Austin Eckler and Keenan Allen. I just hope it's not one of those two guys who are getting hurt.
Nobody gives a shit about your fantasy.
I do.
Team, Grump.
It's my livelihood, like Uncle Buck said in the movie Uncle Buck. Buck Russell. He's like, "Hey, this might be small potatoes to, your dad, but this is how I make my living.
That's how
one day a
makes,
year.
that's how Grumpy makes his living. I know the tight end, I think, got knocked out and got taken off on the stretcher, but I'm not too sure on that. So it wasn't good. I think he got knocked out cold from what I saw. I didn't watch the whole portion of it, but at least that's what I glanced at. And then, yeah, Alexander saying, TJ, come on. No, with the tank top, man. You're married. Enough with it.
Yeah. It's embarrassing, honestly.
Grumpy. Hey, man, you know what? Well, I don't get it. Maybe tank top's my thing. Maybe that's just my thing,
But
bro.
it's nobody else's thing. If you want people to watch this podcast on YouTube and Facebook Live and everything else, maybe you're turning off a core audience.
I'm turning off a core audience by having a tank top on. But you did bring up a good point, right?
Which is humans.
You did bring up a good point, though, Grumpy, which is humans. I respect that. I respect the little jab. That being said, if you're new to the show, we invite you to stick around a while. We invite you to subscribe on YouTube. We invite you to like on Facebook and follow on Twitter. We go live every single Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and every single Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're also going to be covering all the big bowl games this year around too, and any big sporting event. Now, I tell you, Grump, we got some big bowl games up on the horizon. First bowl game is tomorrow. Not a big one, but right around, towards the tail end of the year, right after Christmas, man, the bowl games start ramping up, Grumpy. You got a lot of top 25 matchups. A lot of heavyweights are going to be duking it out on the field.
Well, I'm interested to see the first game we do. It's not going to be the one tomorrow.
No, Grumpy.
They have to be schools we know.
It's gonna be after probably Christmas is when we start doing that. Then one top 25 matchups is what it's gonna be. But Alexander saying here, hey, Deion loaded that kid's pocket,
or got someone to load his pocket.
Here, it's this entire college football and college basketball scene is changed. It's gonna change forever, and again, like. I don't know for the better or for the worse. I'll let you. I don't know if they're going to need some sort of like regulating body over this. But you see here, Deion said, "We ain't got no money." That's the biggest lie I've ever heard. I mean, we kicked your butt. We took what was ours, and now you got to make up an excuse why.
I think the big thing you mentioned right off the top about somebody's going to have to start doing regulation. The NCAA is starting to look at that now because they see that this is I think they're just in the exploratory stages, but it's this point in time, it's going to be like, hey, this is just getting out of hand. And you knew it was without some type of regulation. We said right off the top, what was it going to be like? It was going to be like the Wild West until, they send a marshal into town. So, that's kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah, and here's the thing, right? I've got different clips of coaches talking about how college football is changing, and I think it's going to affect college football more than college basketball. College basketball has one and done, right? So I mean, right, name, image, and likeness, yeah, it's kind of important, but for the most part, right, they could just go 1 year of college and they're gone. College football got to be there at least 3 years. So if you're going to be there 3 years, you want to make sure you can maximize your earning potential. And sometimes, hey, if I had to be there 4 years, I'm going to play till I'm a senior, as a lot of guys do, right? I want to sign where I'm going to have the chance to make the most money in the meantime. And hey, if I make it to the NFL, great, but I want to get paid while I'm playing college as much as I can.
My prediction, this kid only stays 3 years.
Okay, who knows if he even stays long-term with Jackson State? Because Deion Sanders, you have to figure he was the main selling point of that. Who knows how long Deion Sanders is going to be at Jackson State? You have no idea. And the way the transfer portal works, right? I could leave right after the first season if I play and I light the world on fire and Deion Sanders goes somewhere else. I could just leave and follow him and be eligible that same year. Elias Ricks, top-rated corner from last year's class, he went ahead and transferred from LSU when Brian Kelly rolled it down. He said, I'm just going to go play for Nick Saban.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Look at how many kids are in the transfer portal. I mean, a ridiculous amount. It's almost like free agency every year for college athletes.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny you mention that, right? And I'll show you a few clips now. Lane Kiffin happened to talk about this, Grump, and I'll let you listen to what he had to say. I think it's and we've got a few people. Brett Venables, new head coach of Oklahoma, Dabo Swinney spoke on it. You had a lot of guys coming out speaking about this time period and how it's changed. And also Jimbo Fisher has a pretty obvious statement, but it seemed to have shocked most casual college football fans. But I'll let you listen to this. I'll let you listen to this by Lane Kiffin.
I think people really say it this way, but let's not make a mistake. I mean, we have free agency in college football, and the kids a lot of times go to where they're going to get paid the most. So no one else is saying that maybe, but the kids say this is what I'm getting here for NIL, and so what we really have, it is what it is. Free agency has been created in college football. I can go, except you can't lock people into a contract. They can go at any time. So it's a new world that we're in, and sometimes they want to come to you and say, I get this much money if I go there. So this is just a whole new thing to deal with.
Does he look happy when he was making that statement? Grumpy old man, does that face right there look like a happy, joyous face about the name, image, and likeness?
It does not. Very unhappy, as a matter of fact.
I'll tell you, it is. I'll be honest with you, right? He's not wrong. There is essentially free agency now in college football, and I'm not opposed to it, but there needs to be some sort of regulation, because right now you could just say, "Oh, I'll commit, get paid the most." Let's say, "Hey, I'll take a year at Ohio State. I'll go to Texas. I'll go to wherever I'm going to get paid the most. And if I'm not starting or I'm not penciled in to be the starter next year, all right, let me go somewhere else where I can get paid a buttload of money as well." There will need to be some sort of regulation on top of it. But it looks like Lane Kiffin has heard from a few guys he was actively recruiting that, no, I'm not going to commit to Ole Miss because I can make more money elsewhere.
And the whole thing, like we said quite a while ago, when this first was coming up on this NIL stuff, what did we say? Do you remember what we said?
I think it's good in nature. I think it's good for the players. They should be paid because the college football is so freaking greedy, and the NCAA was just happy pocketing all that money. But we believed always the NCAA wanted to let this get as out of hand as humanly possible so they can use the out of hand nonsense as things continue to devolve and to say, this is the reason you need us. Now we need to come and swoop back in and take control of the situation.
And the other thing that we mentioned was that while teams are paying players under the table forever, okay, anyone thinks that a recruit, a big-time recruit, wasn't getting paid one way or another, you're wrong, okay? But now it's out in the open, and now you see how much it is. You see how much money the players are getting. This is how much they were getting before, some way, shape, or form. I'm not saying 1.5 million, but they were getting a nice chunk of change before.
Hundreds of thousands, free houses, free vehicles, right? They'll find other ways not to give you dollar bills, but items that you want. Now, here's something. This apparently enraged a lot of people who just might have their heads in the sands. We have talked about on this podcast and on the show for months, again, since we originally started the show, college football players and college basketball players before the name, image, and likeness deal were already paid. That's how it worked. They were all paid on, you heard of the $100 handshake after the game. Hey, you did fantastic. Or the old, slap on the ass and he put $100 or $1,000 in $100 bills in your pants. That shit happened. Always does, always has. Happened since before even the 70s. Back in the 70s, they were doing items like this.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And for those people who said, "Oh, well, hey, it's a bastion of integrity." No, it's not. Every single one of those players, and when I say every single one of those, I mean every single one of those players at a high level all get paid. And at the top, right? If you're Alabama, every single one of those players were getting paid before name, image, and likeness. Why don't you listen to what Jimbo Fisher had to say? This is on Paul Feinbaum's radio show, Grumpy, that he does every week. And it seemed to enrage a lot of people who just have their heads in the sand and didn't think this is a possibility. But I'll let you listen to it.
You can't promise things. You can't say, I'm going to get you an NIL deal. That's illegal. I mean, all you can do is present what other players in your university have done in the past. That is all you're allowed to do. But there was a lot of NIL deals going on before all this was going on. They just weren't legal. No one told them about it. I mean, all that stuff. No, we got as part of it, but at the same time, that's where you're at today's time. At least it makes it out there and it is legal. The guys can get compensated. But I think it's enticing in recruiting. I think it's very dangerous in that way. But I mean, you got to enforce the rules when they're broken. You got to handle that part of it.
Says, hey, name, image, and likeness already existed. It's just all under the table beforehand. Jimbo Fisher, head coach of Texas A&M, guys.
Did he say we weren't involved in it? Did he? I think he added that little caveat.
I'm not sure. Let's re-listen to it. Let's re-listen to that little short segment.
I mean, all you can do is present what other players in your university have done in the past. That is all you're allowed to do. But there was a lot of NIL deals going on before all this was going on. They just weren't legal. No one told nobody. I mean, all that stuff. No, we got part of it, but
yeah. He afterwards he backpedals. Oh well, we certainly weren't a part of it. Hey, we don't want to have them investigate us or anything like that. Give them a reason to investigate us.
He's lying.
Yes.
When certainly Florida State was absolutely paying players for years, and so are they at Texas A&M. How does Texas A&M get the best recruiting class this year? What do you think? He turned that program around, what, 2 years?
You look at it's funny. You look at the recruiting classes and you look at the value of different sports or different college football programs. The value of Texas A&M is top 5 in all of college football. And you look at these values of the estimated program, the programs that have the highest value are the teams that are really doing quite well with recruiting. Isn't that odd?
Go figure.
Clemson, right? You figure Clemson, hey, they should have an easy time recruiting. Clemson, won national championships, turned the program around. They've got mega super fantastic facilities left and right. They're only they had the 25th highest value of the college football program.
Well, they were
class this year was not how Clemson's recruiting classes have been in the past.
Well, they were one of the really class A cheaters. So, now that the playing field is a little bit more even, where you don't have to cover things up. I mean, I think they were good at covering things up. You're seeing the inequities that used to be.
Every single college football team is good at covering things up. Unless you see them getting popped where coaches are getting fired, every single one of those organizations has done a good job of covering up how much they paid players in the past. Every single one.
Right. I understand that. But what I'm saying is that when more money is involved, where maybe that doesn't pass the sniff test, you have to have somebody who's a good cleaner, if you know what I mean. And I just think that now that it's a more level playing field, you're seeing that disparity in the teams kind of dissipate a little bit.
Let me ask you this. Now that we've seen kind of what this could look like, what do you think, Grumpy Old Man, of what the future of college football and college basketball holds?
I don't think it affects college basketball, like you said earlier. I don't think it has any effect on that at all. College football, it does. I think long-term, players are going to have to sign at least 2-year contracts, because it's going to come to the point where, you know what, you want to play here, you have to stay here at least 2 years. I mean, and I think that's fair, honestly, because they're investing a lot of money in these players. And they shouldn't be free agents. They should get paid, but they shouldn't be able to hop from team to team to team every year. I don't think.
When you look at, let's zoom in here on this. Look at these most valuable programs. Texas A&M is tied with Texas for one of the most valuable programs in the entire nation. Is there any wonder why Texas A&M, and Jimbo Fisher's a hell of a coach, but Texas A&M's got the #1 recruiting class or top 5 recruiting class? No, not in my book.
Money well spent.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, right? I mean, like Texas A&M has. You look at the other top 10 teams here over this margin, right? Texas historically has always been extremely talented. As of recent, they've fallen on hard times. And I mean, as of recent, I mean like the last 15 some odd years. Michigan, another blue blood organization, and the same thing with Alabama and Ohio State and Oklahoma and Georgia and Notre Dame and Florida and Auburn. Texas A&M. I think they're, if you look at the top 10, they're the one that you would say probably doesn't belong with some of these other college programs.
I just find it interesting that 7 teams of the top 12 are SEC teams.
Oh yeah, the SEC is. I'm telling you, the SEC really loves their football.
They do.
Absolutely. Drew L said, "Yeah, Keenan Allen, one of those players, Grump. I'm sorry, but hey, guess what? Allen's back on the field, so you're all good, Grump." Yeah.
As long as it produces.
He's got Justin Herbert. He's got to have Herbert start producing. Alexander saying, guys, you need to start to see NFL games getting postponed with COVID on the rise. Will you start?
Actually,
We are going to cover that later on in this podcast.
Okay.
So hold that, Alexander. We're also going to talk about Urban Meyer, as Alexander mentions. Oh, buddy, we're going to talk about Urban Meyer. That's for certain. But I wanted to show you just a few more items, Grump, regarding the college football name, image, and likeness and what that looked like. So Dabo Swinney, he was quoted for saying, now this was, I think, like 4 or 5 years ago, that if they ever started paying college football players, he'll never coach again. Right? I'd never coach again because it ruins the integrity of the sport. Well, here's what Dabo Swinney had to say about it. It's chaos right now. Tampering galore. Adults manipulating young men. Education is like the last thing now.
Okay. He's a coach at Clemson, a football factory. Education never came into it, ever. He's being disingenuous right now. I love it when football coaches talk like that. They could care less about the education of their athletes. As long as they're on the field, and TJ, you can stand by this. As long as they're on the field.
I won't say they don't care about it. I will say a very, very slim percentage of coaches care about their players' actual education. A lot of them just say, we need to win games. Bottom line, how do we do that? Everything else is secondary. I'm going to say most coaches are like that. Very rarely will you find a coach that says, we want to win games, but we want to develop young men. I'm talking about a handful of guys out of the 150 some odd programs that are Division I programs.
I'm going to say the Ivy League schools. I'm going to say the service academy schools. Maybe a Stanford or a Northwestern. That's about it. Sure. That's about it. Clemson is not in that boat. I'm going to tell you right now. Neither is Alabama, Oklahoma, just everyone else. Michigan, Ohio State. Everyone knows. Everyone knows. Come on.
You saw Jim Harbaugh, by the way. He won Coach of the Year, right?
Should have.
Yeah, he should have.
Mm-hmm.
I don't disagree on that. But you know what also I gather from this comment by Dabo Swinney? Looks like they didn't have such a great recruiting class this year. Didn't have such a great national signing day for him, is what it seems like too, right? This is the first time since 2017, right? They don't have a top 10 recruiting class. There's still time left in it, but they're sitting at 17. Clemson, football powerhouse, sitting at 17th.
It looks like they had some guys who they had written in pencil and, but like heavy lead pencil, not little sketchings. And somebody snuck in at the last and just took it away. They used the eraser on their board and they filled it in pen on their board because they paid them a little bit more. That's what it sounds like to me.
I mean, as a coach, I could see how that would piss you off. It would. It would piss me off. That's
what I'm talking about. The playing field leveling out a little bit.
What?
The playing field leveling out a little bit. Now that everything is above board and they're able to legally offer players money, now you're seeing because some teams are better at covering stuff up than others. They have better fixers, if you will. I mean, the big schools have the better fixers. Now it doesn't matter if you have a fixer or not.
Okay. Now just the richest schools are going to win. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. That's all that is. That's all that is. Okay, Jackson State, because they have Deion Sanders. How many other Deion Sanders, Grump, do you see out here coaching in college football? None. The answer to that is none.
Urban Meyer will be back soon, though.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Don't try to segue into it already, because I've got one more item I want to show you about the college football before we segue our way to Urban Meyer. But I'm just saying, the rich are going to get richer, the poor are going to get poorer. That's all it is. They're going to build an even more elite class, and the really, really talented teams are going to be able to recruit. Doesn't matter who here's the thing. Doesn't matter who the coach is. Now, every single really loaded team and every single really loaded program that has support amongst the community is going to be just like Texas. Texas could have a miserable football season. They could win 4, 5 games, and they're still going to come over with a top 10 recruiting class year after year after year after year because they've got the money, they have the support. Now you're going to see the same exact thing happen, even for teams that are not successful, just because, hey, they've got the money and we can go ahead and give players huge name, image, and likeness deals.
Yeah, that's the way it is.
Yes, it is. So
I'm telling you, it's the Wild West right now. They're going to have to come down with. They're going to have to legislate in some way. They're going to have to.
I agree. I wanted to show you one more bit, but I think, again, this is a little bit of a different take by Venables. That's why this is the only reason I want to bring it up, but I'll let you listen to it as well, Grump.
I believe that you need to use it to your advantage in every way that you possibly can within the rules. But that shouldn't be the focus, again, of your program. And we want to attract players and families that are looking for all of it. And again, the holistic piece. But if that's where all the focus is, then maybe those values don't align. We want to be able to provide in an advantageous way opportunities for our guys to enhance all those opportunities, all within the rules. And so I think we got to do a good job of knowing what are those, because I think there's some creativity that you see it's going across college football. But I'm all for players that have the opportunity. They have the brand, if you will. They have the stage. They have those opportunities to, again, create maybe a short-term better quality of life for both them or their families. I don't see anything wrong with that. But at the end of the day, I don't think if that's the decision maker, if that's what breaks the camel's back, so to speak, it is what it is. There's plenty of great players that stand for the things that we value the most: education, holistic development, opportunity to be successful, being in a winning locker room, in a winning environment, to be challenged.
Okay, that's about as much as we need to hear from Venables here. What is the first thing that comes to mind when you hear that?
He should run for governor.
Yes, I was about to say, we got a politician, very well spoken. I don't know how many more times I can hear him say holistic. That must have been the word of the day for Venables. But yeah, exactly. He's just saying, oh yeah, he's saying everything so tactfully and measured. Oh yeah, this is good, but also in the same token, it could be bad.
I'm going to say that Clemson, I think maybe Adabo Sweeney was a little bit upset that Venables left for Oklahoma. He looks like he was the recruiter for Clemson. I just love what he said. He just, oh my God, come to Oklahoma. We're going to give you money and we're going to care for your child too. Oh boy.
Here it is.
We're going to maximize whatever money you can have. And spiritually, we want you to be there too.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Drew L said, do you guys watch the NBA? Not really.
I just watched Inside the NBA with Shaq and
Ernie.
Charles and Kenny Smith and Ernie Johnson. That's all I watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was about to say I don't watch too much unless it's just little funny bits, but I don't watch a lot of games.
I don't have enough time. I
was about to say with the Islanders and this podcast, we just basketball falls short on the list, unfortunately. Not enough hours in the day. But Grump, and just like Alexander mentioned, Urban Meyer is gone. Boo-hoo, Grumpy. Urban Meyer got fired. That must have been a huge shock for many.
How long ago did I call that? Did we even start the season?
Before the season started, when he originally moved, or when he originally took the job, you said he'll be fired after one season.
Yeah, and he didn't even last. So I was wrong. He didn't even last out a season. But everything he was doing, honestly, was to get himself fired. I think he wanted to be fired.
Really?
It was a laundry list of offenses. I mean, it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. He's not cut out for the pro game. One of the things was he ripped his assistant coaches. I just have a question. Isn't he the guy who hires the assistant coaches?
Yes, but he wanted performance out of those guys.
What does it say about him? I'd say, well, if I'm a loser, what does that make you for hiring me? A shitty evaluator of talent, coaching talent? Like I said, he's great in college football, really good.
I don't think he's a great college coach.
I do.
I think he's a great recruiter. But I think here's the thing. I think a little bit of that brand that Urban Meyer has really been tainted this year.
Okay. Nick Saban. What do you think about him?
Nick Saban's a fantastic coach.
Okay. You realize after he was with Miami, it was the same situation as
No. Nick Saban wasn't caught on video when he was supposed to be going home with his family, having girls dance all over him. He's got his he's doing inappropriate things with ladies that are not his wife. He wasn't caught doing that.
All right.
It wasn't, hold on. It wasn't in the public eye there that he was benching players and saying, hey, we're only going to run the ball 5 times again. No, it's a lot worse for Urban Meyer than it was for Nick Saban at Miami.
Okay. They didn't have social media back then. Okay.
That's my point.
And first of all,
they couldn't have had social media to damage his reputation as much for Saban.
He wasn't doing anything as wrong. His niece was just doing the Humpty dance on him a little bit. And, him being a nice uncle said, you know what? It's okay. I'd rather have you rub up on me than on some stranger. That's what happened.
Yeah. I was about to say, no, Grumpy, I'm not so sure about that. Alexander's saying, did you hear about the Josh Lambo story? He kicked him or something like that. He kicked Josh Lambo and then called him a miserable, demean the guy. That's the one thing you don't do, kickers. Kickers are very finicky. Kickers are guys who a lot of times you just let them live off in their own world. You say, hey, we believe in you. Live off in your own world. They're the most interesting and odd people on the team. Always.
Why are you kicking any player?
That's what I'm saying. Did Nick Saban have stories leaking of him physically assaulting, kicking players or anything like that? No.
No, he was just a really shitty coach in the NFL.
It's different, though. It's different. I said Urban Meyer's reputation is more marred than Nick Saban's reputation was. Also, Nick Saban, when he tried his hand at the NFL, was a much younger coach than Urban Meyer was.
True. But he'll be back in college football at a big-time school, not this year, next year.
No. I think you're wrong.
Okay.
What happened to Les Miles? Les Miles was a fantastic coach for LSU. Fantastic.
Yeah, this guy's a better coach.
When the baggage comes in today's game, college organizations they don't take the risk.
He's won national championships at Florida and Ohio State. He will get another job next year.
Okay. If he gets a job at Kansas, is that really? You said a big time program. I'm afraid I just don't see it, man. Hey, Urban Meyer's also old. He's old. He's not a young coach anymore, man. He's not a young coach, Grump.
What's he, 50, 51, 52?
No, what? Urban Meyer, Grump.
55?
Urban Meyer's 57 years old.
Okay, 57.
He's almost in his 60s, Grump.
I don't think that's old. I know how old I am. I don't think that's old.
For a college football coach, starting over from scratch at a new organization, that is kind of old.
No, I don't think so at all.
Grumpy, can you move your shirt down a little bit? Thank you, my friend. We're just catching a little bit there. Thank you. Fantastic. Alexander's got us in there. He says, hey guys, how about Urban Meyer? This is how it went down. Sal calls up Urban Meyer at 12 a.m. Urban, you're sleeping. Yes, I am, Sal. What's up? Khan says, the stuff, get out of my building. You're fired. In the Vince.
You're fired.
Yeah, there it is. Oh, man. Jewel said, to be fair, Josh Lambo gets hurt like every year. He does. He's very injury prone for a kicker, for certain.
For a kicker.
I was about to say, kickers aren't usually guys that get hurt. Maybe they'll like overextend or like they'll be kicking on the follow through and somebody runs into the leg. Josh Lambo's always hurt.
Yeah.
And for a kicker, it's odd. Like when I say he's injury prone, right? For a normal player, maybe that's not injury prone. For a kicker, he's definitely injury prone, though.
I'm saying he's not absorbing a lot of contact out there.
Alexander said, he was in a lunge stretching position, and Meyer went from behind and kicked Josh Lambo and said, you better make your freaking kicks.
Well, you know what? He could have said it being funny, and he could have just tapped him on the butt with his foot. Here's the thing. Josh Lambo sounds a little soft. All right. I'm not saying you should have kicked him, but reading it like that, you know what? He's like, hey, you better start making your effing kicks. I could say something like that to somebody and playfully kick him. Now, did he stomp him into the ground? Make those kicks, knee drop him. Is that what he did? No, I don't think so.
Well, it's funny. We actually have footage, believe it or not, grumpy old man, from the first time Josh Lambo as well as Urban Meyer met. Now, this is footage. I don't know how they got the cameras in on this, but I do want to go ahead and show you. We do have footage of Urban Meyer and Josh Lambo first meeting.
Oh, you, buddy. What's your name? Stan. Oh.
Old man. And there it is. There it is. The first time Urban Meyer met Josh Lambo. I figure you get a little kick out of that from the old D generation.
The old Shawn Michaels super kick.
I'll tell you, it's funny, right? And the memes, I'm telling you, Grump, the memes are flying around once the Josh Lambo story comes out, right? How can I juxtapose somebody kicking somebody else and say, hey, this is Urban Meyer and this is Josh Lambo? Well, we also got, remember this old play, Grump?
I do remember this one.
Oh, another video. So I don't know how these people got inside the practice facilities, but hats off to you. That's for certain, Grump.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I'll let you listen to Joshua Lambo's words, so we're not taking anything out of context.
And I see Urban come up to me out of the corner of my eye. I was like, oh man, what now? He comes up to me and he says, hey, dip, another word.
Okay, Lambo. Come on.
Oh,
He said, hey, dipshit. Well, this is on national TV. This is on like a local TV station. So,
and I see Urban come up to me out of the corner of my eye. I was like, oh man, what now? He comes up to me and he says, hey, dip, another word, make your effing kicks. And then proceeds to kick me right in the leg, right in the hamstring. Also on the leg, on the hip, that kept me out for 12 games last year. And I couldn't believe it happened. I looked up at him. I said, don't you ever kick me again. And
okay. And now that I hear that, he sounds like he shouldn't be playing in the NFL.
I feel like kicking him in the head.
After hearing that, again, kickers are a finicky guy. This guy is soft, Charmin ass soft. Should Urban Meyer have kicked him? No. Is he embellishing this shit for his little limelight? Yes.
Okay. If you hated the coach that much, because here's the thing, why didn't he have the balls to come out and say it 10 weeks ago? Because now it just looks like piling on. Oh, okay. Well, everyone else is jumping up. Well, now I'm going to tell him he kicked me once too. And he gave me a dirty look in the locker room. I didn't appreciate that. My God. Ugh. Josh Lambo. Yeah. I'm not going to go in a foxhole with that guy.
Oh, man. But hey, I will say Urban Meyer did join some prestigious. He's now in a prestigious class of his own, grumpy old man. Since 1980, only 2 head coaches didn't make it through their first NFL season. Urban Meyer and Bobby Petrino.
And Bobby Petrino
congratulations, Urban Meyer. Fantastic. You're a trailblazer.
And Bobby Petrino has had a checkered past also.
Yes, Grumpy, you okay?
I think he was arrested driving on a motorcycle with some young lady. I don't know if it's a motorcycle.
It was an SUV. He got in a car accident in his SUV. He was with his mistress, and he was in Arkansas, one of the locations, again, where they did not take too kindly to him having a mistress. And or maybe it was a motorcycle. His face got all effed up. I mean, that's anytime you think about Bobby Petrino, that's the picture you think of him in like the neck brace with his face all red from the road burn.
All I'm going to say is maybe it was Urban Meyer's niece, or maybe it was his niece. Maybe it wasn't his mistress.
Well, the funny thing is, it was a girl who used to play on the volleyball team like 2 years before and was just sticking around at the school doing something, and he was having relations with. So this is the image. Anytime I think of Bobby Petrino, this is always the image I think of.
And there's his niece.
Yeah, that's just like Urban Meyer's niece, right, Grump?
Hey, I'm just saying, I don't know what she sees in him or what she saw in him. Probably after he got fired from his job, she didn't want anything else to do with him. I'm just going to go out on a limb here.
Yeah, I can't tell you. Unfortunately, I'm not omnipotent, Grump, but I do think it was fantastic that he joined quite an elite class of individuals there, grumpy old man.
College to pro coach. It usually doesn't work.
No, it does not. grumpy old man. Also, got a few more comments I want to get to here. Tony Cheese said, I was a kicker back in high school. I jammed my thumb. It was never the same afterwards.
See, I knew Tony had to be a kicker. He has kicker written all over him.
Oh, looky there. Looky there. By the way, the Chiefs in the Chargers game is actually a solid one. Although you did get robbed of a Keenan Allen touchdown.
I
You can
need
thank
points.
Sorensen for
I
deflecting
need
that pass.
points. Lots of points.
And then Tony Cheese said, make a shirt that says Charmin Soft and put TJ's head on one of the teddy bears. That could be kind of funny.
Yeah.
Charmin Soft.
Wearing
Oh.
his tank top.
Hey, a tank top. There it is. There it is. Boy, Varlamov looked good tonight, Grump.
I saw the first 2 periods. I thought he was shaky in the first period. In the second period, I thought I think he was too deep in the net. I always feel like when he slides back into the net, he's not feeling good. But then he made a really big save on Pasternak and kind of jump started him. The Islanders, at least what I saw so far, have absolutely dominated the COVID-ridden Boston Bruins. Now, ask me if I care. I don't care that they have COVID.
Well, no. Our Islander fans going to complain. No, this game should be canceled, guys. No, teams can't play with players on COVID. Absolutely not. They've got 7 players on COVID. They can't play. Or what? They have 5 players on COVID. They can't play. Grumpy. They have guys out with COVID. No, this is not fair. This is not fair. Well, here it is, ladies and gentlemen. As we said beforehand, right? The Islanders are going to take a little bit of a bump due to COVID. Guess what? COVID, ladies and gentlemen, was going to go around every single team. The new Omicron variant was going to go around every single team. And you're going to run into teams that have players out due with COVID, and you're going to benefit from that. So you had a whole bunch of players go out early with COVID. Well, means later on in the season, as players are trickling, getting COVID here and there, you're a team that doesn't have to worry about re-catching the same variant.
And they're talking about getting that there's, Barry Trotz said, everyone has had their booster shot. And then it came out, they haven't had their booster shot, but they're saying they should get it. And people calling, why is he lying like that? Okay. Just here's the thing. Everyone knows I'm critical of Barry Trotz at times, but he's not a liar like that. I mean, I don't think he said, oh, yeah, we're triple vaccinated here. I don't think that's what he said. Maybe he was thinking, yeah, we're vaccinated and we encourage guys to get the 3rd shot. Who the hell knows? But I mean, that's kind of like, is that what it's about now? Gotcha.
Grumpy. Yeah, I tell you, I don't think so.
No.
And then Drew L saying, you guys, do you watch the Knicks? No, I do not watch the Knicks.
No.
Nope.
I don't watch much pro basketball. I don't even get to watch as much college basketball as I like. The Islanders take up all my time. A lot.
The Islanders and football, college, and both NFL take up a lot of time. Tony Cheese said, clean up those 6 hot dogs with some Charmin Soft.
Oh, yeah, man. That's
lowbrow humor from your boy, Tony Cheese.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, man. Cal Clutterbuck had 2 goals, only against a COVID-riddled teams because he can't skate by teams that are fully healthy. Oh, good gracious.
Hey, you got to pick your spots. Good for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Bavilier had a goal tonight, too. Hopefully he starts to heat up. As we've said, if Bavilier does well, the team will succeed. He's just he's streaky as all get out.
You had me convinced there at, after you laid out your little map so far, game 1 went right according to form, didn't it?
I told you there's no way we were losing to Boston. Absolutely no way. Just look at
that.
the players that were out due to COVID, and he lost an additional 3 players today due to COVID. Yeah. I mean, I said I was shocked. If you lost, pack the tent up, go home. That's what I said. You needed 7, bare minimum 6 points over the next 4 games, right? I think attainable, you can get 7. So, but hey, Vegas doesn't have a copious amount of individuals out on COVID. That is for certain. Want to show you this here, grumpy old man. Not sure if you saw Vincent Jackson. This was 8 hours ago, who was found. Oh, no, this is from earlier on. Was found dead in his Florida hotel. Been diagnosed. You're seeing a lot of those players that have killed themselves, that have played football in the past at the NFL level. A lot of them have had CTE. You're seeing that is continually being brought up.
I'm going to tell you why. And I know he's a wide receiver, but guys use their heads in every single play because everything's a block tackle. They lunge at them. They hit every time there's a hit. It's not like they're tackling with their shoulder or wrapping with their arms for the most part. They're all block tackles. Hit a guy as hard as you can, knock him down. Eventually, that takes a toll. That's not surprising to me. And I think you're going to see more and more of it as we go on.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you will. A lot of those times where you're going to see players who seem to like, oh, what happened with him? You know, he always seems so happy-go-lucky. I wonder what happened. He had this issue or that issue. You're going to see a lot of times it's tied back to this CT, this chronic traumatic. Oh man, I'm just going to call it CT. I'm not even going to try that last word, but the CT. So, you know, as those continue to pop up, we'll always go ahead and mention them, just even as like a running score sheet there with that. But you hate to see it. Maybe provide a little bit more light to the situation, though.
Yes.
Want to show you, Grump, we have a lot of teams across a lot of different sports that are having issues with COVID, Grump. The NFL, you've got the NHL, you've got,
NBA.
NBA. You've got to cross a lot. Hey, Grump, can you move that down just a little bit? Just the microphone down. No. The microphone down on your shirt. That'd be fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, I tell you, it's something that I wouldn't say is shocking, but the amount of cases that the NHL has seen over the last 3-4 days is shocking. That's what's shocking more than anything else. So, and this number has increased, right? They have a list in the last 4 days of players that have tested positive for COVID. The list comprises of 60 different individuals. I think it's at 68 now because, like, hey, they have additional players that have tested positive in the last 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, and it's not just the NHL. The Los Angeles Rams had 9 guys come out today. I think they have 25 guys on their roster who have tested positive. So it's like, what are you going to do? And now the NFL has changed their policy, and it's pissed off Baker Mayfield.
Tell me a little about that, Grump.
Okay.
Well, I want to first talk about the NHL, right? You've got so many guys. People are suggesting, hey, put the season on pause real quick and come back after Christmas because there's a lot. And with the NHL, and this is why I want to start with the NHL first, a lot of people are speculating that no, the Olympics are not going to be something that the players can participate in this year due to COVID. It's just something that they're not going to see happen. So I kind of wonder, Grump, if those NHL players are going to be able to participate in the Winter Olympics.
I think they're going to have to make that decision themselves. And I think you're seeing a lot of players saying they don't think it's worth the risk. And the more this goes on, I think they're not going to do it. That's what I think. I think they're going to say, you know what, it's not worth the risk. It's not worth, spending, getting sick over there. Who even knows? I know it's February when this happens, but it's really not that far away. So, but you're hearing big names kind of speaking out against it. Maybe it's not. Maybe we should reconsider. Interesting.
Yeah, and Grump, you mentioned that Baker Mayfield is pissed off a little bit about how they're changing because recently they just came out and they said this happened. I'm pretty sure just like I think a few hours ago, the NFL is going to find a way to get individuals back into play quicker if they test positive for COVID.
Yeah, and he was upset because he says, why don't you just make a rule and stick with it? It's like they have different rules for different teams. And, Cleveland's been hard hit. They really have. They're down to their third string quarterback. Baker has it. He's out. Case Keenum has it. Got it today. He's out. And now they're going with Mullins, who the last time we saw him was imploding in San Francisco. He's going to be the starting quarterback against the Las Vegas Raiders this weekend. And they have a bunch of guys out. Cleveland does also.
I'm just saying that I'll try to pull it up, but the NFLPA, pushes for postponements and ponders there the possibility of shutting things down for a week is what the NFLPA wants to do. And I wonder if that's going to be similar to what the NHLPA is going to be talking about.
Well, if I win my fantasy game this week, that's okay. Make sure everybody gets healthy for the stretch run for me. That's what I think is good.
I tell you, it's I don't know what they're going to do, right? The players, a lot of them are asymptomatic. So, in that regard, you think to yourself, okay, if they're not feeling any symptoms, can they continue to play as soon as they have a negative test? How is it going to continue? It's an odd situation, but it's like almost at once across all three of the sports that are participating right now. You've got a massive amount of individuals that are testing positive, and this variant seems to be much more contagious, but side
Not as
effects are much
serious.
less.
Not as
The
serious.
side effects are not as severe. That's again
Right.
from what we hear report wise. Even in Africa where it first originated, and we're seeing here too. Alexander said, "Wow, Kyle Clutterbuck has more goals than the elite winger Josh Bailey."
Why is that not shocking to me?
I thought you'd find that interesting. I thought you would like that, Grump.
I'm not going to bag on Josh Bailey today.
Oh, good gracious! Want to bring up here, Grumpy
Honestly, seriously, I was watching the game and I was 3/4 through the first period. I'm like, gosh, I looked at the line combinations. One guy I didn't notice out there at all was Bailey. I'm like, did he actually bench him? Then I heard his name. Then they couldn't help to trumpet how great that line was. Bailey, Nelson, and Bavillier. Oh, it's the best line. Oh, please stop.
Yeah, every line should look good against a decimated team due to COVID. That's all I'm going to say, right? It's the same as I think. Anybody who lost against the Islanders when they had a COVID-riddled team, it's borderline time to disband. So, we benefited from it. Same thing like we struggled due to COVID. We paid the price earlier. Yeah, we benefited from it today, and we got a free win.
Yeah.
I don't see any Islander fan complaining about that, right? And I wonder if we're going to go back and I wonder how many people are still going to use the COVID issue as an excuse when we're going to benefit. We benefited today, and I'm sure we're going to benefit additional games here down the road from teams that are missing 5, maybe 6 players with COVID.
7, 8. A lot of players from a lot of teams.
Seven seems to be the magic number. Once you hit 7, that's when the NHL cancels or postpones your games. But 5, just like Boston had today, not enough. So
okay,
they only had 17 skaters, Boston, on the ice tonight. So let that sink in.
Yeah. Well.
Remember, they had to play the one game until they could go ahead and move those guys officially to the COVID list to where their cap it doesn't count, and then they could afford to call up additional players from the AHL. So we played against a team with less skaters than they should have, and that was missing starters due to COVID.
I'm going to tell you what, that's a ridiculous rule with COVID involved. I think that's just ridiculous that you have to meet a salary cap thing. I just think, you know what? If you got a bunch of guys out, you feed you have to field the team. You have to put a team on the ice.
Yep. Alexander said, Grump, you're awesome. He also says,
thank you, Alexander.
You think I'm happy? You think I'm happy about this win? Definitely not. Boston wasn't at full strength.
Well, it's still 2 points. That's the way I look at it.
I was about to say, I'm not. Hey, man, and we didn't look great. We looked good against a team that was decimated with COVID, or a team that struggled with COVID. They're missing 5 starters due to COVID. But hey, it resulted in a win for us, and you're not going to see me complain at all about that.
Not at all.
We need, especially in a team that has been struggling as of recent. I will take a win any which way we can get it. Want to talk a few more things, Grump. Now, Boost Boudreaux was. Go ahead.
Before I just have one quick question. Just to go to college football, be really, really brief. What do you think about the players who don't play in bowl games to get ready for the NFL draft?
I don't have an issue with it. You're seeing a lot of players do that recently. Here's the thing, if it can negatively hurt your draft stock, I'd sit out. If you're a guy who struggled this season and you need like that little extra game or two that could say, hey, you're playing one of those non-conference games, maybe you could help elevate with a good performance here and maybe like a good performance into the Senior Bowl, for certain. They're a guy who needs to participate. I'm not saying all players should sit out. I don't fault players for sitting out, though. I know that Kenny Pickett, right, the top quarterback in the who's supposed to be the top quarterback in this year's draft class, is determined to sit out in the Chick-fil-A Bowl, or was it the Peach Bowl? I'm sorry, the Peach Bowl against Michigan State. You've got Kenny Pickett who's going to sit out, and it makes sense for him, right? They've got a new the offensive coordinator was fired, or the offensive coordinator, I'm sorry, Mark Whipple, he resigned and went to sign a contract with Nebraska. So if you're Kenny Pickett, I want to win for the boys, but in the same token, let's say I'm not as good as what I actually am, and I just worked really well in that system. Well, I don't want somebody who's never called offensive plays for me now calling offensive plays and me looking out of sync because I have a new offensive coordinator the last game of the season, and that dropped my draft stock. I understand his reasoning not for doing it. But I don't have an issue when players sit out. I think it makes the game kind of like, yeah, it kind of sucks, but the same token, I don't blame the player because I can understand it from a player's point of view. Bruce Boudreau, since joining the Vancouver Canucks, they're 5-0, Grumpy, since Bruce has joined. The Canucks were struggling mightily with Travis Green, and now Bruce Boudreau seems to be turning that ship around.
With a talented team, sometimes it just needs to hear a different voice. I never thought Travis Green was a good coach anyway.
No.
Bruce Boudreau, I don't know if he's a guy who's going to win your Stanley Cup, but he's certainly going to make you more competitive. And he's certainly doing that with Vancouver right now.
You think about this. The teams they've played over that 5-game span, the Los Angeles Kings, the Boston Bruins, that was before any COVID issues, but the Boston Bruins are a pretty decent squad. The Winnipeg Jets, they're a good team. The Carolina Hurricanes and the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
You look at it, right? Over the next few games, they've got the next 4 games. They got the San Jose Sharks twice, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Arizona Coyotes. It's crazy how a coaching change could really get a team started.
And I think was he the head coach when Anaheim won in 2007? I want to say he was. I'm not quite sure though. But I mean, he's been around the block, for certain. But I tell you what, he's doing a great job with Vancouver. Good for them. Good hire for them, honestly.
I think Randy Carlyle.
Okay.
I believe that's who it was. Yeah, 7th head coach in team history that led Anaheim to his first 2 seasons in the Stanley Cup. Yeah.
Okay.
But yep. I'll tell you, they look to have been turning the corner a little bit. Alexander was saying, boy, Cal Clutterbuck got pissed about the question Shannon just asked him. I wonder what he asked him. I wonder what she asked him.
I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine Shannon Hogan asking a hard-hitting question.
She's not meant to do that. She asks really puff piece questions that should be out of the park home runners for anybody who's being asked those questions. If she asks a tough question, she's giving you an out in the question. But things the sky would have to be falling, like a 12-game losing streak for them to do something like that. Also, want to ask you this, Grumpy. So Alexander Ovechkin just recently stepped into the NHL point leader, the scoring race, leading the NHL in points so far. And this was as of this morning. Not sure if it's changed. I'm not sure if Edmonton is playing. I'm not sure if Edmonton is playing tonight. They are not. So Alexander Ovechkin is leading the NHL in points. I want to ask you how accomplished or how tough is that feat? Because Alexander Ovechkin's up there in age, Grump.
Yeah, he's 37? And they play a different style in Washington, but the season he's having is just incredible this year. I mean, if you're asking me who the MVP is, it's Alex Ovechkin right now at the little past the quarter pole, I guess maybe a third of the season in. McDavid and Draisaitl, that team is going to put up points. And I'm not diminishing what they've done, but what Ovechkin is doing in Washington is more impressive to me.
And that's what I was about to say. Is it even more impressive for the age that Ovechkin is doing this in? Because Ovechkin, again, 37 years old. Now, Draisaitl and Connor McDavid both have a point tonight, so they're all tied. It's a 3-way tie, I believe, at the moment for the league leader at points in the NHL. But I just, at this age, it's a super impressive feat. It really is.
Yeah, he's been wonderful this year. Totally sublime. Really good.
Absolutely. Now,
the only guy on the list, I'm just looking at some of those names on the list. Nazem Kadri kind of sticks out a little bit, doesn't he, compared to everybody else?
Wow. Hold on. Nazem Kadri. Wow. Jesus H. What the hell is he doing in this? Yeah, he's the name who doesn't belong. My God, Kadri. Wow. Benefits from playing with Colorado. That is for certain.
Yeah, I don't even know if he's on the first line or not.
I tell you, it's odd. Now, I wanted to mention Colorado is playing tonight, and I'm trying to see how many COVID cases they've got, Grump. I think they have additional cases as well. And for all those that cried, oh, the NHL they don't care about the poor old lowly Islanders. The NHL's making the Colorado Avalanche play tonight. And I know they've got multiple players out with COVID.
Yeah, well, like I said, it is what it is. Gonna have to battle through. I have no sympathy. Here's the thing: if I had no sympathy for the Islanders, I'm not having any sympathy for other teams either. It is what it is. You roll with what you got.
Here it is. You talk about this. Number one, I think it's very impressive. Alexander Ovechkin leading the NHL or tied for the NHL league in points. Elliot Freeman said Cole Makar, Darcy Kemper, Burakovsky, Comfer, and Devon Taves are all out in COVID protocol. You talk about, you got your entire top defense pairing. You've got your goalie in Kemper, Burakovsky as well, forward. And I'm sure there'll be more names added to that list. But it seems like, again, the names just keep pouring in of additional players that are going to miss time due to COVID protocol.
The good thing is you don't hear about any of these guys getting sick. They're all pretty much asymptomatic from what I've heard.
Yeah.
So, and that's good news. That's as good as it can be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you test positive and you're asymptomatic, it doesn't get any better than that.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And the Warzone Senior Citizen says here, a fully vaccinated team and everyone that can't stop getting COVID. Yeah, well, it's a different strain. It prevents. Well, it's a different strain, and it prevents against hospitalization. I don't think it prevents you from getting it, but it lessens your chance to be hospitalized, if I understand it correct. The Tribe says, "Love the shirt, Grumpy. Go A's."
Swinging A's. That's when I was a fan back in the 70s. The white shoes, the mustache gang. Love that team back then.
And then Tony Cheese says, "You guys are going to get this podcast canceled." I hope he's not talking about us. I don't think we're doing anything on that. And Kadri is on the McKinnon line, just so you know, Grump.
Okay, so I don't know if they took off Landeskog or Rantanen. One of those guys had to go if Kadri's on the first line.
Now we've got the question. Hold on a second. Alexander, I think, sent it in.
But how much pride do you take in the way that you performed tonight and your line performed after some scrutiny from the coaching staff and the fans early on this season?
I don't know. We just try to go there and work hard every night, I mean, scrutiny aside, I don't know about that, but I don't know. We're just trying to go do it, girls.
You guys tend to really be in that mid-season.
Did you just see him shake his head?
Yeah, he's not used to getting a question from any of the Islanders cartel media.
That's not even a hard question.
It wasn't. The question should have been
scrutiny. How freaking oblivious are you? Did you not gather that your team and your line had received scrutiny, Cal? Were you that freaking oblivious? What?
Well, because they probably don't get any bite back in the room, or the coach. Don't worry about it, guys. You're doing great.
Hold on. You want to talk about disrespect? Shannon always asks very rosy questions. And she's giving, let's listen to this question again. She's giving Cal Clutterbuck a chance to say, we overcame adversity through togetherness of this line and through, the hard work this line and this unit and this team has put together. We're going to be able to right the ship. That is an easy chance for a flowery answer. And Cal, I just don't think understood. Listen to the question again. It's still a very easy question. I think.
Make it louder, please.
But how much pride do you take in the way that you performed tonight and your line performed after some scrutiny from the coaching staff and the fans early on this season?
So some scrutiny from the coaching staff and the fans. Guess what? Every line in the entire team had scrutiny, Cal Clutterbuck. You went on a freaking 12-game losing streak.
She should have said, and from the grumpy old man skewering you on a nightly basis.
Okay, let's listen again here.
I don't know. We just try to go there and work hard every night, I mean, scrutiny aside, I don't know about that, but I don't know. We're just trying to go do it, girls.
You guys tend to really be.
And you see a little.
Yeah.
Like, why would you ask me a question like that, Shannon?
Hey, Shannon, you realize that's not a question that you should be asking.
As a member of the cartel, you can't ask a question like that.
The toughest question I want is what kind of ice cream cake my daughter wants for her birthday. Is it chocolate or vanilla?
Can I get cookies and cream?
Yeah, I just like, come on. That was not a tough question. Yeah, the fourth line has played like absolute trash this year, and you've been called out on it. I mean, let's be honest.
You want to know what a hard question? You want to know a hard question, right? Think
Why
about
does
how
your
different
team
it is.
suck so bad?
No. A hard question would be this. This is how it is in English Premier League football, with a lot of scrutiny coming amongst the fourth line. That that your age has caught up with you, and that you'll never be able to replicate success of the past. How does it feel to score a few goals and hopefully be getting on the right track? That would be a tough freaking question, right? You lambaste a guy and you bring up the actual points that people are bringing up that I think are critical and also accurate, but then saying, how does it feel to get? Jeez, man, it was a cakewalk of a question. But listen, the last 20 seconds, Grump. We have 20 seconds left of this.
In that midseason for when you're all clicking together. This game in particular had a strong feel of a team effort. Is that something that's just so important at this point in the season as you guys are looking to just find a way to get these wins one after another?
Obviously, it's important to win at this point.
Okay, gotcha. But that question, he definitely did seem a little perturbed by that, Grumpy.
He did. I don't get it. You're right. And like when you listen to soccer commentators, man, they go after the players. You've been in
after
such
the players, after the coaches, everybody's free games.
You've been in such poor form lately. Do you think there's anything you could do to pull out of it? What about the coach? Do you think he deserves to keep his job? I mean, those are the questions they ask.
When you hear all the fans, when you hear the supporters of the club saying that you need to be fired, what does that make you feel?
Yeah.
When I say shit like that, you just go, "Oh, okay."
It's like when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was fired from Man United, and the fans and Bruno Fernandes, who's one of the big players there, was like, "Hey, it's not on him, it's on us." And the official and the announcers going, "Well, you know what? Maybe you need to play better instead of just saying it's on you guys. Maybe you need to play better so he can keep his job." Oh. Ouch.
Oh man, I'll tell you. Oh yeah. I appreciate Tony Cheese. Yeah. We try to keep the comments there. Hey, we're not going to ever say you can't say what you want on the show, but always make sure. I appreciate it, Tony. I thought you said something we were saying was going to get us canceled. Now I was like, we're not saying anything off the cuff.
That's usually me.
Yeah, I was about to say. Tony Cheese said, I have a picture of Cal Clutterbuck clearly infuriated with Josh Bailey at the mic. I'm going to find a way to send it to you. If you send it on Twitter or Facebook, do that, Tony Cheese. Do it, Tony.
Do it.
Watch how he storms off. Okay, that's what I must have missed. I'll pull it back up and see if he storms off there. But Grump, do you know what is also happening this weekend? There's a big fight that's occurring.
Oh,
this weekend,
yeah.
Grumpy.
Yeah.
Our favorite fight.
Yeah. Jake Paul. Ugh. I hope he gets his ass kicked.
You're not rooting for Jake Paul. You're pulling into Tyron Woodley.
Yeah, absolutely. The Paul kid's got a big mouth. He's a showboat. I want to see him get his teeth knocked down his throat. Now, also, I hear that if Woodley knocks him out, an extra $500,000 bonus. I mean, I'm going for it.
Alexander said, watch the second part. He storms off there. And thanks for sending this to us, Alexander. Let's see if I can go ahead and get this pulled up, Grump, to see if he storms off, and let's watch that last question.
Obviously, it's important to win at this point.
Season as you guys are looking to just find a way to get these wins one after another.
Obviously, it's important to win at this point. Obviously, it hasn't gone the way we would have hoped. And some of it we deserved and some of it we didn't. But here we are where we are, and we just need to win.
All right, Cal, thanks so much for your time. Congratulations on the 2 goals tonight. Bring it back up to you.
All right, thank you, Shannon. That is game number 8.
I don't think necessarily he stormed off, but
yeah, he did look a little bit like Josh Lambo, right? Who was the kicker that we did?
Josh
Lambo.
No, I wouldn't say it looked like Josh Lambo. Come on.
I do.
Come on. No,
ask him a tough question, kind of, what are you doing?
Now, we mentioned big fight this weekend. Tyron Woodley against Jake Paul. Isn't it funny, right? We were pulling for Tyron Woodley in the worst way because Jake Paul's just
is this the kid right here?
Jake Paul wore a ski mask to the Paul and Woodley press conference, and he said they're gonna have to give me a big bag to go out there and beat the guy I already beat. This is a bank robbery.
Well, that's what it looks like. Look like a guy going to rob a bank or kidnap someone.
That's why he's
That's what
wearing
he
a
looks
ski
like.
mask because they're going to pay him too much money to beat a guy he already beat.
You know what he looks like
I
to me?
freaking hate. I'd tell you. Well, it makes for a good show, right? I hope Tyron Woodley pounds the piss out of him.
He looks like a jerk.
He is a jerk.
Oh, I know he is, but I mean, he now even looks like one.
Oh,
Actually, he looks better like this. Cover up all that silly crap he's got going on.
all his face tats and stuff.
Yeah, come on, kid. You know, you grow up, your skin starts to sag a little bit. Your little parakeet you got on your cheek is going to look like an albatross or something. What are those things that swallow a pelican? You know, if it was a skin sag, his beak's going to be down here.
Jesus, man, oh man, I tell
It
you.
would have helped if I remembered the bird's name, honestly.
So yeah, it would have helped. Now there was a video, Grumpy, that
Also,
Tyron.
Also on that fight card, Frank Gore, former running back, is going to fight former point guard Deron Williams. That should be interesting.
Yeah, we're not done with it, Grump. I'm not done
Okay.
with the bit about I wanted to show you just to kind of like the little back and forth that Tyron Woodley as well as Jake Paul have had, Grumpy old man. Well, this was earlier on. Now, this was before Woodley knew that he was going to be boxing or boxing Jake Paul. But Jake Paul was doing some neck exercises, and I'll let you watch the clip. And again, this is like we used to do stuff like this in football, manual neck to make sure you strengthen your neck. But Tyron Woodley to this clip said, "Damn, looks like you're really comfortable and familiar doing this." So I'll let you watch what it is, Grump.
Oh my goodness! Yes, he does look very comfortable doing it. Mouth is open. Interesting.
Obviously trying to liken him giving fellatio to a man is what he's trying to do there, but good gracious.
That's what Woodley said?
Yeah. Well, he didn't say it like that, but that's what he was trying to liken it to.
I'm just going to say Woodley shouldn't be talking too much smack. I'm rooting for him, but
this is before he knew he was going to fight him. So this is when Fury, the Fury who backed out, was supposed to fight him.
Yeah, but I mean, he lost the first fight, and he did lose it. I mean, I was rooting for him to
Tommy
win.
Fury was supposed to fight Jake Paul.
Yeah. But I was rooting for Woodley in the first fight, and kudos to him taking this fight on short notice, honestly. I expect him to get knocked out. He cannot be in fighting shape at this point.
Yes, but Frank Gore is going to be fighting. That is for certain. He says though he would really like to come back, and he still wants to play football.
Oh, please! Obviously, he has CTE.
No,
and now he's going to get punched in the head. Come on, Frank.
Maybe
your career is over.
He said he wants to come back. He wants to come back, and he wants to play.
Nobody wants him back.
He wants to win a Super Bowl.
If there was a New York Islander equivalent in the NFL, Frank Gore would have a shot to play. He's old and washed up.
I'll let you watch some of Frank Gore, and now Deron Williams. We'll pull up an image of him, but Frank Gore again, not the biggest guy, definitely stout, but I'll let you watch some of the old 1-2 drum.
Who's this midget he's beating up?
That's his trainer.
Okay. How much is he weighing? It's got to be heavyweight.
I don't know, Grump. He's not that heavy. He looks still he looks skinnier than his playing days. He looks a little bit more lean.
I'm looking at his midsection.
He looks skinny.
He does not look skinny.
Bullshit. He looks skinny, man.
You pull that shirt off, and you're going to say he doesn't look skinny.
No, Grump, stop. He is skinny as all hell, man. I'm telling you, he is skinny there. You're wrong. He looks skinny. He looks like he lost some weight.
Okay. I'm going to go with no there.
Oh, stop. Okay. But that it should be fun. I think that should be a fun one. Again, now, who do you have in the Deron Williams against Frank Gore boxing fight, Grump?
Jeez, I don't know. Where's a picture of Deron Williams? He always had a penchant for putting on a few LBs, too. He never looked super svelte to me.
I'm telling you, Frank Gore is still in great shape, man. You'll see him. You'll see him in the ring, Grumpy.
Well, you said you were going to put a picture up of Deron Williams.
I've got it. Give me.
Okay, because then you asked me for prediction. I just want to see what he looked like.
Okay,
if he looks like a beach ball, I'm going with Frank Gore.
Well, nobody looks like. Okay, here it is. I'll zoom in. Now, this is when they faced off, Grump.
Oh, my God.
Tell me again how you think that freaking Frank Gore looks like a blimp. Or he looks like
I didn't say look like a blimp.
He looks like he's flat in that big section. That son of a gun, Grumpy, he's still shredded. I'm letting you know something. Frank Gore is still in excellent shape. And he's got the shirt that's got the little tight around the sleeves right there. It makes his biceps look huge. Maybe he hit some bicep curls before he went up there because he's still looking built. Given he does not have the size advantage. Deron Williams, at least looking like the shirt outfit he's got going on, he looks like a casual guy that's packed on a few pounds after playing. He does look like he's packed on maybe a few pounds.
He looks like he's having like a family vacation, and he stopped in and signed a piece of paper. Now he's got to get beat up by Frank Gore.
Hey, maybe it's the hat too that makes him look like he's going on vacation.
Looks like Clark W. Griswold.
Hey, shit, I was thinking the same exact thing. It does look like Clark Griswold, Grump.
I'm picking Gore to win the fight. I mean,
even though the size advantage is going to Williams.
Well, height. I don't know the length of the arms. So it's height is
okay. I want you to look at this, just a quick glance. Look at both their left arms. You look at the wingspan. Deron Williams' shoulder is above Frank Gore's shoulder, and Deron Williams' hand is below Frank Gore's hand. Frank Gore has much shorter and stubbier arms and is a shorter guy. Deron Williams not only has the reach, but he also has the size and height advantage.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If Frank Gore, and I'm going to guarantee he's going to try to get on the inside and work to that body, that Griswold body there, Eddie Griswold. He's going to try to work that body. I mean, that much you could guaranteed, right? So he's got to get in close. It's like when Frazier fought Ali. Ali always had the reach on him, but Frazier was able to bob and weave, get inside, and hit him with a bunch of body blows and stuff like that every single fight. So, styles make fights. Basketball player versus football player. I'm going to take the football player every time, unless it's Josh Lambo. Then I'm taking any other athlete.
I was about to say, I'm not. I don't think Josh Lambo is going to be doing it.
No.
Oh man, Grump. But now, so we've got Frank Gore. I think I'll side with Frank Gore too. But here's the thing. I don't know how long that fight. I just hope nobody gets knocked out. Anytime I see two ex-professional athletes boxing, I don't want to see either of them get knocked out. I think that only hurts, what I think. Think about it. Frank Gore took a hell of a beating too in the NFL. Could you imagine if he gets knocked out?
I enjoy seeing guys get knocked out.
I don't want to see.
I mean, cold. Boom. You're like when the guys fall funny. I'm like, oh, he's out of there.
Grumpy, I can't do that, man. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that.
That's what people. You think people go there to see Floyd Mayweather? Run, run.
No.
Looks like you're in a baking competition. I mean, they like sluggers, man. They would see guys get knocked out.
Tony Cheese, I don't have it yet on Facebook. I just checked. If you send it to me on Twitter, I promise you I'll be able to get that. And the Facebook one is kind of tough because I looked on the Islanders as well as the TJ Grumpy Old Man podcast in my personal. I didn't see anywhere Tony Cheese. Unless you go into the alias of somebody different than Tony Cheese, then maybe that's the case. But shoot it to me on Twitter if you have one. Different Mind said, my friends got refunds from Showtime after the Mayweather and Paul fight. LOL. I don't blame him. That wasn't.
They're terrible fights. Floyd Mayweather, I mean, I know he won all his fights, but man, he was miserable to watch. It was no fun.
And I was saying, yeah, this Jake Paul guy's a freaking clown. Well, hey, guess what? It gets better. There's even more of a clown show type answer and response he made later on that we're going to tell you about. But you know what? Grump TJ, you guys need to do a fight, to do a live stream during a fight. I would be down to do that, but we're gonna have to find a way to illegally stream it to where I could comment on the fight. That would be funny. Maybe we could do that. Maybe we'll do that if it's Sunday evening fight. Maybe we could do that, Grump. Yeah. WTF is that network. We used to do something nowhere near like that, though. And John P., the distinguished gentleman, he says, "How are you, gentlemen? Varley saves the day this evening."
I'm happy. Like I said, I saw the first two periods. I thought they didn't pressure him a whole lot. I didn't see the third, so I have to withhold judgment after the third period.
Alexander saying Frank Gore may shock some people. I hope he does. I was about to say, I don't want to see Frank Gore go down. Frank Gore seems like such a nice guy. But yes,
He must be broke. He's got to be broke. You have to be broke to start fighting at 37 years old. You have to be.
there's no way. I'm sorry. He's played in the NFL for how long? Or this guy, maybe he's just an ultimate competitor, Grump. Seriously, though, do you think maybe he could just be a guy who competes?
Getting beat up is your right. Getting beat up, that's what you want to do? Because he's going to get hit. I mean, at least I'm sure Williams is going to throw punches. I'm sure Frank Gore doesn't really know how to defend himself. He's not a professional. He's just now starting. Neither one of them are professionals. Maybe it'll be a bloodbath. I wouldn't mind that.
Tony Cheese, I still haven't got it, man. If you have it on Twitter, I think that's the easiest way to get it to me. I looked under both of them, still wasn't seeing it yet. But Drew L said, and worst comes worst, we'll go ahead and show that up during the Islanders Never Say That podcast if it takes a while to get it sent to us. Drew L said, let's be real. Deron Williams and Frank Gore fight is going to be an absolute abomination beyond all comprehension.
Yeah, neither one of them.
I got money on Grump.
I'll take that money.
Oh, hold on. I would pay to see a Grump TJ fight. Well, Grump's done. Grump's. I mean, come on.
Look, TJ couldn't even beat Ronda Rousey.
Look at Grump. It'd be criminal. I couldn't do that to Grumpy. It'd be criminal. I'd get in there, I'd blow on him, he'd just fall right over. Look at Grumpy at his advanced age. I couldn't do something like that to Grump.
Remember TJ fights like this?
Not to my co-host. I couldn't do something like that to the co-host. I met Frank Gore when he played for the Dolphins. Great guy and so knowledgeable. Absolutely. John P said Varley faced 41 shots on goal. Olmark only 27.
Boston must have really picked it up in the third. I was underwhelmed by them.
Well, they had multiple players out with COVID. Tony G said, I gotta sleep. I'll try it again another day. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. And I guess Grumps.
Thank you.
Now, the last comment that Jake Paul made is quite a bombastic one, right? You talk about a guy who just seems to be living in a different dimension. He said right now there's 100% chance that he'll be competing in the MMA. He will train with Javier Mendez, Khabib.
No, actually, I'm going to enjoy that because he'll get destroyed.
I was about to say there's nothing better than a hard fall from grace. He thinks he's so talented and special, and if he face plants out of nowhere, the fall from grace is a hard and fast one.
I mean, it's not like boxing where you grab guys, you got the gloves on. I mean, unless he fights some powder puff, unless he fights TJ, I can see where he would really struggle.
Here's the thing. I'm not going to say, yeah, let's go ahead. I'm not Grumpy. I'm nowhere near in fighting shape. That's for certain.
We can tell by that tank top.
Good gracious. Woodley coming off. Yeah, I'm just trying to see.
Yeah, and he also said the only thing stopping a fight between him and Conor McGregor is Dana White. I'm like, why would Conor McGregor fight this guy? They don't even look like they're even close.
Conor McGregor would murder Jake Paul. Think about it. Jake Paul not only has the size advantage, he also has the height advantage. Jake Paul would get murdered by McGregor. Absolutely murdered.
Like Ronda Rousey would kill you in one of those fights.
Jesus Christ. And we keep going. And then Alexander saying, for all my flat in the wiki, John P said Jake Paul throwing up. And oh my God, MMA, he will get destroyed. I was about to say he'd only fight some really, really, really underperforming.
You got to be real tough to do that. He doesn't strike me as being a tough guy.
Maybe he is. I would say probably.
You know what he looks like? He looks like a rapper. Somebody talks a good game, but just no. I'm sorry.
And he puts on for Cleveland, as you could tell right here, man. He puts on for Cleveland.
Congrats.
Look, the Browns, the Indians, and the Cavaliers. He puts on
the Guardians.
Well, he's got the old Indian right here, so I'm going to say the Indians.
Chief Yahoo.
Chief. So he puts on for Cleveland. He does look like a fool, and
at least he's representing his town. I'll give him.
I'm rooting for Tyron Woodley.
Yeah, me too.
No doubt about it. But Grump, man, we covered a lot today. Let me ask you, what else you have to say before we wrap things up on today's podcast, Grump?
I just want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens, and even those who don't, from TJ and the Grumpy Old Man.
And thank you, everybody, for tuning in and watching live. We love getting to interact there with people in this setting. It's more free-flowing, I think, too. It's not like we've got to stay so strict to the Islanders. We just talk about anything and everything, right? Some people get all upset if we don't talk Islanders enough. Oh, stop talking this, stop talking that. So this is just more of a free-flowing setting, and we love just talking sports and shooting the shit with you guys. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in, and thank you so much, Grumpy Old Man. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Am I frozen? What the hell's going on right now? Am I frozen? I'm what? Hold on a second. I gotta get
frozen. What's the name? How do they sing that song?
Let It Go.
Let It Go. That's it.
Let It Go. I guess I'm frozen. I'm not showing us frozen on my camera, but I guess I am frozen here. But nonetheless,
it's the best you looked all night.
I thought. Hold on. This is the best I've looked all night, right?
You look better now. Yeah.
This is the best I've looked all night. Here we go. But thank you again, guys, for tuning in, and thank you, Grumpy. We'll see you on Sunday. Until then, stay safe. Hopefully, you got all your holiday shopping done, and God bless. And thank you again, Grumpy.